really want to become great, if you want to be the greatest, then you need to become the servant. Jesus is and always will be the ultimate all-in servant. When you really break it down, what it means to be a servant, it's really just not that glamorous. In fact, I propose to you to be a servant can be a very dangerous thing. Secondly, being a servant, an all-in servant, can be really messy and dirty. It's not that sexy to be a servant. If you're going to be an all-in servant, it can be very, very discouraging. It's going to be very costly as well. Jesus numerous times implied or said directly that you better count the cost. To make a commitment before you count the cost is a foolish thing to do. I think the problem today may not be the lack of commitment, but the overcommitment. Many times, if you're going to be an all-in servant, you're going to feel unappreciated. Jesus actually addresses this in a story, and it's found in Luke chapter 17. And he says this, he says, suppose one of you has a servant, and he's out there plowing or looking after your sheep. And when he says to the servant when he comes in from the field, come now and sit down and eat. Well, does that be what he says? No. He'll say, well, now that you've done that, I want you to prepare my supper. Get yourself ready. I know you've been serving in the field all day, but prepare me a meal. Get yourself ready, and I want you to wait on me, okay, while I eat and while I drink, and after that, you can eat and drink. And then he says, and would you thank the servant because he did what you told him to? He said, also, you also, when you have done everything that you were told to do, should say that we are unworthy servants. We've only done our duty. The point I'm making is when you talk about being all-in servant, we go, oh yeah, that's glamorous. No, friend, it's not either, because you, if you're not careful, you can cock an attitude when you didn't get a thank you when you felt like you should have. Here's what I also know, and that's this. Being an all-in servant is not an event, it's a lifestyle. This Good Samaritan, he didn't just on that day decide to be kind to a neighbor. I believe that he was raised in a home that taught him to be kind to a neighbor and to serve a neighbor. I believe that this was just a natural reaction that he had towards someone who was hurting around him. He just naturally, without even thinking about it, developed a lifestyle of being an all-in servant. See, when an all-in servant embraces their identity, they then become willing to selflessly serve others. An all-in servant is definitely rewarding. Can I tell you that we make a mistake, especially in the Western culture, when we make it all about us? When it's all about you, that is the most miserable life to live. Stop thinking so much about yourself and your own problems and your own pain, and learn how to serve somebody else. When you do that, friend, it's amazing that what you make happen for somebody else, God can make happen for you. Serving in the right area, it's always fulfilling, even when it's difficult. Whatever title you may carry, let's exchange that title for a towel. Let's exchange that title for a towel of caring. Caring for one another and just having that attitude of being a servant. So as I close, I want to ask you a couple of questions. And these are not condemning questions. These are honest questions. And this question was this: if every member of our church family served like you, what kind of church would we be? If every member served like you, what kind of church would we be? Now, that's not a condemning question. I think it should be one that we seek, though. What area are you serving in? Can I just lovingly say, as your pastor, there are way too many of you that in your previous church, you were maybe even an elder, you were on the worship team, you were a Sunday school teacher, you were in prominent positions, and you came here depleted and exhausted and you said, Pastor, I'm just exhausted, blah, blah, I just want to soak. And it's been 3 years and you're still just soaking. It's time to get in the saddle. We need you. We need what you carry. We need what the giftings and callings inside of you. It's time to get activated. So I'm going to ask you, what do you enjoy? What is it that you really enjoy that could be a blessing to our church family? Could be a blessing. But listen, church, for us to be as effective as God wants us to be, it requires for us to be all in, every part. Amen?